Welcome back. A somber gathering at 38th in Chicago, marking 6 years since George Floyd was murdered at the hands of a Minneapolis police officer. A group gathers there every Monday to fight back against injustice. It's a protest that doesn't look or sound like your typical protest. Sammy Selena reports.
Every Monday at George Floyd Square, no matter how dreary, joy
what up?
Shines through.
That's the only way to move.
Musicians come from all corners of the metro.
Everywhere I go,
Rain or shine.
I'm gonna let it shine.
We've been here when it was below 30 degrees. The horn players, it's really hard for them. Because it'll freeze to their face.
I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield.
Brass Solidarity is a protest band
Down by the ring.
fighting for Black liberation, born from tragedy.
I started using music to process my feelings after the murder of George Floyd.
Butchie Austin co-founded the band after seeing musicians coping in the same way.
Some others that were also playing music met up with me, and we decided to keep going every week since then.
There are people here who will actually come together and work. So it's beautiful.
I am a supporter.
Wendy Darst has been playing with the band for 4 years.
It takes everybody to stand up against injustice, and especially white people who are largely responsible for it.
It's like they're going to keep playing until things change, but boy, that's going to be a long time.
Clifford David Johnson has only been official for a month, but has seen a lifetime of reckoning.
I'm 80 years old and I've lived through all that racial prejudice stuff all my life, you know, and it's still happening.
So how do tragedy and joy mix? George Floyd's aunt, Angela Harrison, says it's simple.
All this pain, this sadness, and all of this, music takes us to another place. People can deflect and take their pain through music. Music makes us feel good. It makes us reflect. It takes us down memory lane. You can dance together.
Brass Solidarity plays at community events, marches, and jammed in the streets during Operation Metro Surge.
We continue to play because we know that it's not just healing, it's not just joyous, bringing a message that, you know, there's more we can do, more change that we can make.
And while pain lives in George Floyd Square,
They're just going to keep beating those drums until it gets better.
so does joy.
They're not going to quit. It's solidarity.
Sammy Solina,
There ain't no streets when there ain't no peace.
KARE 11 News.
The band plays every Monday from 5:30 to 7. A wine barrel drum. That's how people took a Japanese tradition and made it more accessible. The body of a traditional Japanese drum used to take 5 to 7 years to make because it was made out of one solid piece of wood that would take years to dry out. Well, in North America, people found you could do it faster and cheaper with a wine barrel. In this week's Lifting Voices, Jessica Hart introduces us to Taiko.
In this studio, the beat is loud, but it's also good for the soul.
And it's high energy. It's just a lot of fun.
Jennifer Weir is the executive director at TaikoArts Midwest.
I do think there's something literally about the vibrations of drums that are good for you.
Taiko is the Japanese word for drum
A combination of drumming, music, dance.
and dates back thousands of years.
After World War II, it evolved from the shrines and festivals and it moved to the stage. And when that happened, that sort of kicked open a whole new sort of world of taiko.
Jennifer grew up as a Korean adoptee in North Dakota and didn't start to explore her Asian roots until her 20s. Taiko helped her discover what drives her.
It unlocked a superpower I didn't know I had. And so in that way I can stand up and just kind of tap into something primal, something beautiful, and something that is at its core Asian.
It's definitely a high, and it's something that you don't get in everyday life.
Megan Chow Smith found peace through beating drumsticks.
There's something so reassuring about being able to be so powerful and being part of a group.
The cultural connection strengthened by a group beating as one.
There's no taiko without community.
A community creating a beat that nourishes the soul. In St. Paul, Jessica Hart, KARE 11 News.
You can find taiko all over the world now, from Japan to Brazil. TaikoArts has an upcoming concert at the Ordway in June. The 100 deadliest days of summer are officially underway right now. Safety experts say now through Labor Day, fatal crashes significantly spike, especially those involving teen drivers. This afternoon, we look at the elevated risks on the road, plus things parents can do to help young drivers stay safe.
It's never easy turning over the car keys to your child, but this time of year can be especially concerning, as the next 100 days are considered the deadliest for teen drivers.
That's when teens drive more, they have more free time, and they're often driving in higher risk conditions.
Jonathan Asani with Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health says any new driver, regardless of age, is more prone to car crashes. But inexperience is just a part of what makes driving riskier for teens.
Because their brains are still developing and they have more difficulty calibrating risk, frankly.
Teens between the ages of 16 and 19 have a fatal crash rate almost 3 times higher than drivers ages 20 and older per mile driven. While car crashes are a top cause of death among teens year-round, they tend to spike in summer, rising by 30% between Memorial Day and Labor Day. Not using a seatbelt, distracted driving, speeding, substance use, and having teenage or young adult passengers in the car are all factors that also raise a teen's driving risk.
In addition, driving late at night, particularly between 9 p.m. and midnight, is associated with an elevated crash risk.
To reduce risk, parents can monitor their teens' driving, set clear rules and expectations, like always wearing a seatbelt, not using the phone, and not driving with other young people in the car. Choosing a vehicle with safety features is also important.
Crashes are predictable, they're painful, but they're preventable.
Stick with us. There is more news and weather coming up after the break.